there, my name is Kelly Dale with Off the Beaded Path. Thanks so much for tuning in today to see our first full-length project of 2019. So back in the fall of 2018, one of my companies sent me a new bead that I really liked. It is a top drilled 6mm bead, and it's smooth like a pearl. It's not faceted like a fire polish bead. So I started playing with it and I came up with a really cute beaded bead. Now it's important to note you could make this beaded bead with a regular 6mm bead. The only thing that I really like about this one and using the top drill beads is that the top drill beads allow kind of a deep well or a deep side that you can really fill in those sides, and it makes a fun, unique bead. So to make these beaded beads, what you're going to need are, for one bead, you're going to need 4 of the top drilled 6mm beads. You are going to need a few size 11 seed beads. It can be Miyuki or Toho. You're going to need a few size 8 seed beads, and again, it can be Miyuki or Toho. You're going to need a needle. You can use a 10 or a 12, as well as some thread. So I'm going to be using my 1G thread today. You can use Fireline or whatever you prefer to use. Now, it is important to note these are just beaded beads, and now you can make these beaded beads into anything. You can do a bracelet, you can do earrings, you can do a necklace, whatever you want. So I'll show you several samples of what I did today for this project. Now also be sure to stay tuned at the very end of this video because we have an exciting giveaway. It's a giveaway for a new lamp from BrightechShop.com, and so it's a really great daylight lamp for your beading. So be sure to stay tuned to the end of this video for details on that giveaway. Otherwise, let's get our materials together and get started. Okay, so here are the beaded beads that I want to show you how to make today. Like I was explaining, with the deep wells in between your beads, you're really able to add some nice seed beads into those sections. The beaded bead by itself, to me, is not a very pretty bead. It's kind of a hot mess. But once you actually put it together with something, it's really cute. Here is another version of it so that you can see that. And this is actually a finished earring here. This one I have put on an antique gold head pin and just put a bicone on the top and the bottom. This is a 4mm. Here you can see the same beaded bead, just different colors, and I put this one with chain, so it's a little bit longer of an earring. Now I've also got a necklace sample here I want to show you. Let me get it all together. So this one is just quite a few of the beaded beads with crystals in between them. These beads move on the chain. I've set them up that way, but you can, you know, do whatever you want to as far as keeping this stable. This is just made using some really thin chain, Beadalon chain that we sell, and I'll show that to you before the end of the video. But you can see here, this is just a really fun piece, and you could actually make a bracelet out of these as well. I did want to show you too, I have a really pretty red version. I actually did these at Christmas. This is how I come up with the berry beads, since they were red, green, and gold. And then here is another one. I think this is satin metallic turquoise, are the beaded beads, or the beads themselves. And then this is the marble turquoise seed bead that we have. You can see I just have them on a different type of ear hook to make them a little bit longer. So the 6mm top drills are exactly that. It's a 6mm bead, but instead of having the hole all the way through the center, the hole is offset to one side. So you can really see it when they're on the strand, like they come on. This is a strand. They come on, I want to say there's 20, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 25 beads come onto a strand just like this. So you can really see how they lay side by side. So to start off our beaded bead, we are going to use our size, got my needle threaded with 1 yard of thread, a size 8, a 6mm, an 8, and a 6mm. I'm going to let these drop down here is my short tail. I'm not going to use that little short tail thread for anything except for to tie the thread off, so you do not have to leave a lot of thread. I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go right back up through those 4 beads again. Now, here is a very, very important suggestion to you about this piece. When we tie these 2 threads together, we want to leave a little bit of space. If you tie these 2 together and you tie them very tightly together, what's going to happen is one side of your beaded bead is going to be really tight. The other side is going to be a little bit looser. So what's going to happen is when you actually go to make it into an earring or whatever, and you put a bicone on each side of it or a bead, your bead will actually go up into your beaded bead on one side. So just be aware that when we tie this together here, I'm not going to tie it super tight. I just want to tie enough to form them into a circle. Now, if you want to, you can not tie and you can just work it off and tie it off at the end. Completely your prerogative and what you want to do. So here at the knot, I'm going to continue on through a size 8 seed bead. Now this is right next to my knot. So the 8 and then up through the top drill bead right next to that one size 8. So at this very moment, my thread is coming out of the top of this top drilled bead. Okay, come on, there we go. It's coming out of the top. So I'm going to pick up an 8, a top drilled, and an 8. Okay, so those 3 beads. My thread again is coming out of the top, so I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come right back up through that same bead so that it makes a circle. And I'm going to pull that on through. So when you do that, what's going to happen is it's going to make a triangle and it's going to clump it together. Okay, so my thread is coming out of the top of this second bead that I had added, so I am going to come through the top size 8 seed bead that I just added and down through the top drilled that I just added. So now I have 3 of my top drills. I need 1 more of these top drills, so I'm going to pick up an 8, a top drill, and an 8. Okay, as we were a minute ago, my thread is coming out of the bottom of the 3rd top drill that I put on. So I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to come right back down through that same bead so that I need to make a circle. So now when you pull it together, it's going to look like a big clump hot mess, but I promise you we're going to fix that. So my thread is coming out of the bottom here of my round bead. So I'm going to come through the size 8 seed bead that I just threaded on and then up through the top drill. Now I actually taught this class in my store back in December, and the biggest problem that anybody had was remembering to go up through or down through the new top drill to kind of do your step up. So just watch that before you add any more beads. So my thread is coming out of the top of this 4th one. So I have 4 here, and then I only have 3 8s on the top, and if I flip it over, I only have 3 8s on the bottom as well. So we want to rectify that. So I have my size 8 seed bead. My thread is coming out of the top of the 4th round bead. So I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go down through the 1st round bead that I added. And I'm going to pull that through. Okay, so now it still looks like a hot mess, but I have 4 beads on the top, and if I flip this over, I'm going to pick up a size 8 seed bead. My thread is coming out of this 1st round bead, so I'm going to come over here to the 4th round bead, and I'm going to go through that bead. So now, once I pull it, and I pull it nice and tight, I have 4 beads with 4 8s. And then 4 8s on this side. Okay, now I'm going to go through this circle of 4 beads here on the top. this will connect them and pull them together, and it will stiffen up your piece a little bit so it's not so flimsy to work with. Okay, so once you've gone through all 4 of those beads, then you're going to go down through a round bead. It doesn't matter where you come out, you're just going to go through a round bead. And then we want to go through the 4 beads here on this side, pulling them together. And y'all, I am so sorry. I feel like I'm so shaky today, and I think it's because I tried a new coffee and I'm just, ooh. All right, so I pulled all of these together on the bottom and on the top. Now, if this little tail thread is getting in your way and you tied it off at the beginning, you can go ahead and get rid of your tail thread, or you can leave it. It does not matter. Okay, now comes the fun part, the embellishments. Okay, so I'm going to flip this so that you can see my thread is coming out to the left of this bottom size 8 seed bead. I'm going to pick up 1, 2, 3, 4 11s. This is what's going to go in between our beaded, our little top drilled beads. So I'm going to pick up 4 of my 11s here. Okay, again, my thread is coming out to the left, so I'm going to come to the 8 right above it, and I'm going to go through that one bead from left to right. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this through. When you pull it through, make sure it goes in between those 2 beads. Now I'm going to come right back down through all 4 of those beads again. And then, if you remember right, my thread was coming out to the left. So I'm going to come through now from right to left so that my thread will be coming out in the same position. The reason I do this is because now this centers, what I just did centers these 4 beads over the 8 here and the 8 here. So it's a thread on each side of that 8. So I'm going to turn the beaded bead. I'm going to come through the next 8 on one side, and I'm going to pick up my 4 11s again. Alright, so my thread is coming out of the bottom to the left, so I'm going to come to the 8 right above it. I'm going to go through that bead from left to right. Now again, make sure that those beads go in between these 2 here. I'm going to come through those 4 11s again. Then through my size 8 seed bead once more. And again, you can see it puts those beads right in between my 2 beaded beads. So now I'm going to just come through the very next 8, and I'm going to continue this. I'm going to do this twice more. So 4 11s. I'm coming out to the left, so I'm going to come up here to the top, and I'm going to go through that top bead from right to or left to right. Go through those 4 beads again. And then back through my size 8 again. Okay, so I have 3 sides of it done, so I'm going to do one more here. Same thing, 4 11s. I'm going to come to the top, go through from left to right, and then go through those 4 beads again. And make sure when you go through the 4 that see how mine got wrapped around right there? You want to make sure that it stays on that one side, or you're going to get it done and you're going to be like, oh man, I got a thread. Okay, so I'm going through my last bead here. So now I have embellishments in all 4 crevices that I had. So now we want to stiffen it up even more. So to do this, and number 2, I don't like to see the holes here. So this is just going to help to cover up the holes. So I'm coming out of an 8 and I'm going to go through, an 8. I pick up an 11 and I go through the next 8. And I'm going to do this on this side. Just picking up my 11 and going through an 8. Okay, so we have those popped in on this side here, and then you can either go up through the 11s here, or you can go just through your round bead, completely up to you. And we're going to put the 11s on this side. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, if you do this beaded bead too tight, it's going to be a little bit hard to get these 11s in. So you can use a 15 if you want to. Let's see. I tested a 15 on one of these, but I think I ended up taking it out because the 15, it kind of falls in between here and it still doesn't cover up your holes like I wanted it to. So if you have a good bit of thread bit left and your bead still feels a little bit flimsy, you can go through and reinforce it again. Sometimes I like to even just go through my little sections of 8s and 11s on each side to reinforce, just so that it will it'll help take the brunt end of where your beads are going to be. So once you have it done exactly like you want it to, then we're going to just tie it off. So I don't necessarily tie mine off, but I'm going to do it for the video. So I'm going to take my needle and come under the thread between the 8 and my 11. I'm going to leave just a little bit of a loop here. I'm going to stick my needle through that loop and pull. And when you pull, make sure that knot goes in between the 8 and the 11. And then again, I'm going to just stitch through here. Leave a loop, go through the loop, and pull that thread. So that when you finish it now, you can get rid of your thread. And now you have a beaded bead that you can make into whatever you would like to make into it. So I'll show you how to make just a real quick pair of earrings. Alright, so I wanted to do a little bit of a different earring than what I had done here. Tassels are still really big. These are some of the layered tassels that we have here in store. So I've taken an eye pin and attached it to the top loop of the tassel. Now I'm going to use a 4mm Indicolite bicone. So I'll put on a bicone, my beaded bead, and then one more bicone. And let me grab one because I just flicked one and there's no telling where it went. So I have those 3 beads. So basically this would be this here. Same thing, except I would have done it on a head pin, and then I will make my loop. So if you don't know how to make a loop, I have several really good videos that are Must Know Monday videos that will actually show you how to make the loop, so you won't have to re-watch it again and again here. So I have made my wrapped loop, and then it would just be attaching it to my ear hook. And then once I do that, now I have another version of my beaded beads here. So I have all of these, plus I promised you the necklace that I did. I used this round cable chain. It comes on a spool like this. This is Beadalon, and on our website it is the round cable Beadalon chain kit, because it actually comes with the little ends that you can finish this off with as well. But 4mm bicones fit really well onto this chain. So all I have done is I put a bicone, a bead, a bicone, a bead, a bicone, a bead, and it makes a really cute necklace. So now for our new product feature this week, I wanted to show you a new finding that we got into the store. This is a post earring, and it is a 12mm flat cabochon encasement. So all I have to do is put me a little bit dab, as that old commercial says, a little dab will do ya, of some E6000 glue. And then it's a matter of just simply taking your cabochon. These are the mermaid scales that we have on our website. We have tons of colors of these, but it's just at that point gluing those in and then putting your back on to your earrings. So these are really simple, quick earrings. It'll be great for the summer season with these mermaid scales. So I hope you enjoyed learning how to make these new berry beaded beads. We're not going to have kits per se for any of the beads, but we are going to have sampler packs of these top drilled 6mm, so that way it's not a huge investment for you to try out a brand new bead. Now this is not a bead that I'm just going to use today and never use again. I already have another project lined up for these little beaded beads, these top drilled 6mm, so don't worry about that. I do have more projects coming with those. Also, we do have lots of colors of those on our website, which can be found at offthebeadedpathbeadstore.com. Now, because I know I'm going to get questions, the earrings that I have on today were a gift from Miss Nadine Miller, one of my customers, for Christmas. These are just peyote stitch tube beads that she's done. And the ring that I have on today is the double daisy ring. This was a video that I did several years ago. You can go back into our archives and find it, or my great husband Sammy can link it right below. Now, I did promise you there was going to be a giveaway, and there is. So BrightTechShop.com is doing a giveaway. I'm, working with them, and they're going to be giving away one of their flex magnifier lights. Now, this magnifier light's really cool because it's a tabletop lamp. It's not a huge one like I have. So it's a tabletop, and it's really good for travel, but it's the nice bright lights like you would get in a daylight lamp or your OT light. So it's a really, really neat light. So here's the only deal. You have to go to their website, and you have to go to the link specifically below, okay, this link specifically, to be able to enter into the contest. So you'll go to their website, you'll enter in your information for the contest, and then on July 31st, Lord help me, Jesus, I am making this contest go a long ways, January 31st of 2019, I will be announcing the winner here on this channel. So be sure to go to this link right here below me, register to win this awesome new lamp from BrightTechShop.com, and on January 31st of 2019 I will announce the winner for that lamp. So do not go to my website, go to the link here for that lamp to be entered. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.